Hi, it's Wasabi. Welcome back to the channel. We've got a battle with a tank destroyer today. I don't normally feature tank destroyers because sometimes the play is not so informative, but when they're played aggressively, it's the ones I like to show, so hopefully you'll like this. Alright, we've got Argonaut again. This time he's in the WOTCCASIA Panzer IV, and we're on Ghost Town map. Tier 8 to tier 9 map, so he's top tier. Now, this TD has got a very accurate gun, so normally people play it from the back of the map and snipe, but as you can see, he's coming right to the middle of the map. Okay. So obviously he doesn't have a lot of armour, but let's see how he uses it and keeps his gun working and avoiding getting knocked out early. So, alright, so here we go. Bang, straight through Commander's hatch on the T832. Now he's using his APCR here. Can he get another shot in? No, it didn't land there. He did take a hit there. As you can see, the Traeger's got very light armour, particularly on the turret, which is really just a gun shield. But he's getting some support here, which might keep the enemy tanks at bay, but the downside of that is obviously it makes them harder to put damage in. But we just moved back just before that shell would have landed. That doesn't mean every tank's got a cupola on top that you can penetrate for this position, so it may not be as productive as it looks, but in case the WTR Panzer IV has got a fairly high output gun. I assume he's using the 150, let's see. Oh, the 128, okay. So 560 average damage, that means he got a high roll from the first one, which is good. And there he goes, and gets another big shot in. And another one on the 283. So again, sort of commented before, 283 is not necessarily played by those players because of the way they were accessible through the game. So we'll have a look at that player's position in the game when he pushes. But he's trying to side scrape, so he might be complete noob, but he does have to pull back to take a shot, and that allows Argonaut to get the kill shot there. And he's got a nice little gap here that he can fire through, and hopefully the T83 fire back, but unfortunately that didn't connect. Could have reduced him to a one shot with that hit, but no, it was the brakes. His tank's moving around a bit, but now he's got a main phase 1, which still has a Commander's hatch. It's an American tank, and he manages to go through there, or the roof could be, because this is 128mm gun, means he can overmatch armour at 40mm, which is pretty common for roof armour. So let's see how it goes. Well, goes through the front of the 703 too. So you can see he's accumulating quite a bit of damage here in this position, and obviously he's copying a little bit in return. He's going to keep these tanks at bay. And bounces off the T832, that's just bizarre, but again, it does have a fairly strong turret being placed on the T32, but fortunately for Argo, he gets taken out. Now he can concentrate on these tanks here to his left. Everyone's pushing forward, so a bit of confusion now, particularly for the enemy tanks, so he can take advantage of that and get some damage in. And he's got a fairly narrow window here to shoot, so it does take a bit of skill. And there he goes through the STI again. Takes him down to one shottable. At least one shottable to Argonaut, but lined up another victim there, the CC67, but he did take a hit for that, and that's taken him down to 546 hit points, which again is completely viable, but just make sure he doesn't take too many more hits. Alright, so his team's got a bit of an advantage. They are 3 guns up. Got a small hit point advantage though, only just under 1,000 hit points. Although that's changing. Oh, it's changing all the time, so this game is still in the balance. But Argonaut can move forward a little bit here and see if he can take advantage of the spotting here. He's got an AMBT, can take a shot and he stays in place, and he does quite nicely. You can see what Argonaut's doing. He's basically reversing into position. That allows him to basically move out of that position using forward motion, which obviously has got stronger acceleration and a higher speed, so it does make it more flexible in terms of escaping, and that's quite often what you see with light tanks. They get into the bush just to go backwards so that you can reverse out, but you've got to keep a pretty strong idea on which keys you're using to move backwards and forwards, because obviously you need to do exactly that, move backwards and forwards. Alright, so he has taken another hit there. He's taken that down to 319, which again is still viable, but yeah, makes him one-shottable to a couple of tanks, but at least with the tier 8s it's unlikely that any of them will take him out. And in fact that T26 E5 is the last remaining heavy tank on the enemy team. So they're in a bit of trouble, and yeah, the game has changed a little bit. We're now 4 tanks up. Again, not a huge hit point advantage. That's just been just about maintained at this point. But the remaining enemy tanks, oh, they've just cut the advantage back a little bit there. The remaining enemy tanks, 3 of them at full health. One of those is an arty, which doesn't include a lot of hit points, but gives Argonaut a chance to do a little bit more damage here. Alright, now switch to his HE shells. Not a bad idea for some of the TDs, particularly the Morsig. There's 2 T30s around too, which do have big alpha guns and could definitely take out Argonaut if he gets spotted, so he's just being a bit careful and pulling back while he's reloading to stay out of line of sight of just about anything. Alright, one of those T30s has been taken out, so now it's just 4 remaining tanks and the advantage is starting to open up. Look at the impossibly long gun on the 128, the caliber on that is just fantastic for the actual size of the tank. Where's that K91? It's up on the field, there it is. Goes, gets him lined up, and can he stay there? Yes he can, and he gets the kill. So, only the second kill to Argonaut, but although he's done 7k of damage now, he's really been the engine room for this particular win, I would say. We'll see that in the details, but okay, there's the other T30. Bangs a shot into him, and didn't get spotted as a result, but you can just see where that T30 is on his view range circles, right at the edge, so it's unlikely the T30 he had his binocs up, assuming he's using them. He would have been able to spot him in return. He's taking a bit of risk here to come down and deal with the arty, so if he does, he's getting a bit in range of the T30. Snaps the shot, but that luckily gets him if he does get spotted, but it takes him below the area that the T30 can shoot back. Looks like the T30 might have just fired there, so he's got the opportunity to put some damage in. He's got behind a rock. Now that T30 has turned out to be the last tank in the game on the enemy team. Argonaut just moving a little carefully here to get close to the T30. Stay out of vision as long as possible, but that is going to slow him down going up the hill, and as you can see, a complete bunch of seagulls coming in to try and get that last kill. And he might just get one more hit. He's got spotted down, the T30's looking at him, so wisely backs off. He doesn't want to lose his tank, but there we go. It's all the hit points have been taken away, so that is the end of the game, and he's cracked 8k, so let's go and see if any of those other shots landed. Well, 8k is what he earned, so no blind shots, 3 kills as we saw, and a very small amount of assisted damage. But that's getting him the Confederate award for getting at least 6 or 7 tanks killed from tanks that he damaged. And the high caliber award, of course, doing the most damage, and of course 8k is going to be pretty high. So let's see that in the team result, but that's all added up to an Ace Tanker Mastery badge. Let's go and have a look at that. All right, well on top there with EXP, 1459 base, very nice at tier 9. Tier 9 that we didn't see much of. Must have got a fair bit of spotting damage because only 1100 hit points of damage done, and only 2 other tanks doing over 2k, so absolute carry there from Argonaut in terms of the amount of hit points he drew out of the enemy. And on the enemy team, that T26E5 actually came out on top both in damage and EXP, so well played there, the GNS player. And let's see what it cost. So 22 shots fired, that's not bad output for such a big gun, particularly with Alpha. 17 hits, 15 penetrations. Saw quite a few snapshots there that didn't quite connect, but that's the nature of these fast-moving targets in front of you. It's a bit like one of those duck hunt games. And you can see there only 1700 hit points of that done at more than 300 meters, so that's probably, you know, the opposite of what you typically see for one of these TDs normally. Didn't have any extras running, and he used pretty much premium ammunition all the way, so that's basically cost him 32k, but I think that's worth that for the result. And that's probably going to help his MOE as well. I think we saw 2 marks of excellence on that vehicle, if I counted my rings correctly, and I probably didn't, so just correct me in the comments if that's what you saw. But anyway, a great game from Argonaut, and pretty much 2 in a row from him, so having a bit of a good patch in play. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. Hopefully you found something good out of this. If so, please give it a thumbs up. That definitely helps get it in front of more people. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please consider doing so. We'll have more great content to follow. Thanks very much for watching.